take this mechanism. DMSO is activated by oxalyl chloride here, right? So what is oxalyl chloride? Oxalic acid. If it is OH, it is oxalic acid. So two acid chlorides. So this is oxalyl chloride. So oxygen will attack on carbonate. So chlorine is a good leaving group. So chlorine will be leaving. Chlorine is a good leaving group, chloride ion. So it will be leaving. Then there is a bond between CO, CO, Cl. Okay. So in this form, the sulfur is in excited state. So alcohol now will undergo. So sulfur is in excited state, activated state. So alcohol can easily attack on sulfur, right? So oxygen will add on sulfur. Then this bond will break down to form carbon oxygen double bond. So it breaks as carbon dioxide. Then it breaks as carbon monoxide. Okay, so this molecule, it leaves as carbon dioxide. This molecule, because it is reducing, right, this bond is moving towards carbon, this bond is moving away from carbon. So what we can, CO2 plus CO plus Cl minus. If I take out this proton also, yes, then H plus plus our compound. What is our compound? RCH2O, and there is a bond between oxygen and sulfur. So this is the first step, bond formation between alcoholic oxygen and sulfur. If you understood, then again it is a repetition. So up to here it is different for different sulfur reagents, but once there is a bond formation between oxygen and sulfur, then the remaining story is common for DMS oxidation or DMSO oxidation. You know what happens? We can, previously what we used to do, we used to take out a proton from here. Then, so yeah, I have shown it in intramolecularly. Sorry, intermolecularly. I'll show once again. R C H H O, and there is a bond between oxygen and sulfur. So what happens? A base from the reaction mixture like Cl minus will pick up this proton. Then what happens? R CH O. Sorry, there is a plus charge. Plus minus. Then this minus will be polarized towards oxygen to generate the carbon oxygen double bond. Then this sulfur will be a dimethyl sulfoxide. Dimethyl sulfonium ion is reduced, double bond O plus DMS. So this is intramolecular fashion, right? We can also show it intramolecular. Sorry, this is intermolecular. We can also show it intramolecular. How do we show this? You know, previously what we are doing, we have abstracted a proton from the alcoholic carbon. But instead of that, if we can pick up a proton from methyl on sulfur, because sulfur is positively charged, So if a negative charge on alpha carbon can be stabilized, a negative charge on alpha carbon can be stabilized. So if we write like that, okay, if this base, if it is picking a proton from this carbon, then it generates this sulfonium halide. It generates this sulfonium halide. Then we can easily show intramolecular fashion for the carbon oxygen double bond formation. So this anion will pick up this proton intramolecularly. Then this carbon hydrogen bonding electrons will be polarized towards carbon oxygen to generate the carbon oxygen double bond. Then it will be reduced. So again we will get the same products. Okay, but this is intramolecular fashion, whereas this is intermolecular fashion. So both of them are correct. Okay, yeah, take this. Yeah, all sulfur reagent based oxidations, the mechanism is very similar. What we need to have is first sulfur should be activated. So we will add some reagents to activate the sulfur. Once sulfur is activated, then alcohol will attack on sulfur. So there is a bond formation between alcoholic oxygen and sulfur. Then a base in the reaction medium will pick up the proton on alcoholic carbon. So it generates a negative charge on alcoholic carbon. So the negative charge will be polarized to get the carbon oxygen double bond. So sulfur will be reduced to DMS. Okay, so it is a common for all sulfur based oxidations. Okay, so this we can show it in intramolecular fashion, or we can also show it in a so this is intermolecular fashion, this is intramolecular fashion. So for intramolecular fashion, what we need to do, we need to take out a proton from this carbon. So it generates a sulfur halide. What is halide? Halide is halide is just a compound where positive and negative charges are present in the same molecule. So it generates an halide. So that halide with in intramolecular fashion uh, develops the aldehyde and sulfur will be reduced. Okay, please take a snapshot. I'm going to change this. Please take a snapshot. I'm going to change this. We can use P2O5, phosphorus pentoxide, aluminum oxide can be used in place of oxalyl chloride. So in Swarna oxidation, we can use P2O5 alumina in place of COCl2 to activate the sulfur. Okay. So when we do Swarna oxidation, all the alcohols will be oxidized to corresponding either aldehydes or ketones. So this is a secondary alcohol, so it will become ketone. This is a primary alcohol, so it becomes aldehyde. Then if we add a Wittig reagent, Wittig reagent where an ester or an electron withdrawing group is present on the carbon, it is called stabilized Wittig. It is called a stabilized Wittig. A Wittig reagent where an electron withdrawing group like cyanide ester is present on a carbon, that is called stabilized Wittig. Generally, stabilized Wittigs will give trans double bond. Stabilized Wittig will give trans double bond. So if we add only one equivalent of Wittig reagent, Wittig reagent can differentiate aldehyde and ketone. So Wittig reagent will react with more reactive aldehyde, right? Among aldehyde and ketone, aldehyde is more reactive, ketone is less reactive compared to aldehyde. So we will get this one. Of course, we will discuss Wittig reagent in advanced reagents topic, but still remember phosphorus will take this oxygen. So if it is P double bond CH, then in the products it becomes P double bond O. Then this C double bond O, because it is losing oxygen, so this C will form a double bond with this C. So it is just exchange of partners, right? Phosphorus will take oxygen. This carbon will be bonding with this carbon. So it is just carbon-carbon bond formation between the carbonyl carbon and the carbon on phosphorus. So if it is a stabilized Wittig, we will get a trans double bond. If it is a non-stabilized Wittig, we will get a cis double bond. The difference between stabilized and non-stabilized is we will have an electron withdrawing group on carbon. That is a stabilized Wittig. If we don't have electron withdrawing group on this carbon, it is not a stabilized Wittig. Right. I'd like to tell you one more point. What we do, we used to do Swarna oxidations below minus 60 degrees. Why should we do Swarna oxidations below minus 60 degrees, whereas Moffat oxidation can work at room temperature, right? So the reason is that activation of sulfur, this is stable up to, this is stable up to minus 60 degrees centigrade. This is stable. The activate reaction of oxalyl chloride with sulfur DMSO will give you this product, right? So this is stable up to minus 60 degrees. If we heat the reaction temperature more than minus 60, like minus 30 or room temperature or 0 degrees, then this intermediate will decompose, so it will not undergo further reactions. So that is why we should perform Swarna oxidations at minus 78 degrees. That means below minus 60 degrees. Okay. So in the mechanism, you can take a product of first step itself. Okay. So I'll give some more examples, then we will go for other oxidations. So not only oxalyl chloride, we can use P2O5, P4O10, aluminum oxide, or acetic anhydride for activating the DMSO in Swarna oxidation. Okay, we can also use acetic anhydride. So oxygen will attack on acetic anhydride, so it forms OAC. You can write the product. Okay, I'm not going to discuss the product, but what I can take is, what I can give you is O minus will attack an acetic anhydride, so it generates OAC like this. So now alcohol will attack on sulfur. Okay, so here we are having two different hydroxy groups. One is tertiary hydroxide, tertiary alcohol, another one is primary alcohol. So as we know, only primary and secondary alcohols can be oxidized in DMSO oxidations. Yeah, in normally any oxidations, tertiary alcohol will not undergo any oxidation. So only this alcohol will undergo oxidation. So base is an important part of the sulfur reagents based oxidation. So we need to pick up the protons. There are several protons, so we must use a base here. So what is the product? Of course, there is only one alcohol, so that alcohol will be oxidized. I think two people are facing problems. Yeah, I request one more thing. Someone please record the class so that we can upload in our group. Okay. So I am recording it, but one more fellow, if something happens to my laptop, then it may be a backup. Okay. So please record. At least one person can record the videos so that we can upload them in our group. Right. So this is all about Swarna oxidation, that means sulfur based oxidations. Now we will see open air oxidation. Open air oxidation is just reverse to MPV reduction, so that we will discuss in reductions. So what is open air oxidation? Open air oxidation is again alcohol oxidation. So the product will be a ketone. If it is a primary alcohol, it will be aldehyde. If it is a secondary alcohol, the product will be ketone. Then what we use? We use aluminium triisopropoxide, and excess acetone. Okay. So we need to get a carbonyl from alcohol. So for that means it is getting oxidized. We need to have a counterpart which should get reduction. So for that we use ketone. Generally we use acetone because it is cheap. Okay. So when we use excess of ketone, this alcohol, whatever our reactant, that will undergo oxidation to give the carbonyl. Acetone will undergo reduction to give the isopropanol. Okay. So of course we also heat this. Okay, we will discuss the mechanism. So here the first step itself, it is the addition of alcohol onto the aluminium triisopropoxide. Aluminium triisopropoxide. Okay, so aluminium alcohol will add on to aluminum triisopropoxide. So one of the isopropoxide unit will be leaving. So we can also remove this proton, right? So when we do this, then there is a bond between aluminum isopropoxide so isopropanol will be leaving. Okay, so first step itself, it is the addition of alcohol onto aluminum. So one of the aluminum isopropoxide unit will be leaving, so this will pick up this proton, so isopropanol will be leaving. Then when we add acetone to this molecule, when we add acetone to this molecule, what happens? This alcohol will be oxidized to ketone. This alcohol will be oxidized to ketone, and acetone will undergo reduction to get isopropanol. That isopropanol again will regenerate aluminum triisopropoxide. Okay, this alcohol will undergo oxidation to get ketone. This acetone will undergo reduction, so it forms isopropanol. That isopropanol will again complex with, again form the bond with aluminum, so it regenerates aluminum triisopropoxide. So it will again and again involves in the reaction cycle. So for that, what we need excess of acetone. Okay. What is the mechanism of open air oxidation? Alcohol will add to triisopropoxide, aluminum triisopropoxide. So one isopropanol unit will be leaving. So our alcohol now will involve in bonding with aluminum. When we add acetone, what happens? This alcohol will undergo oxidation, so it generates the carbonyl. Acetone will undergo reduction, so it forms isopropanol. So this isopropanol will again form a bond with aluminum and regenerates the catalyst. Okay, this catalyst will involve in another cycle. Okay, I will show you how this oxidation and reductions will take place. Okay, I am changing this. Take a snapshot. So the oxidation of alcohol and the reduction of acetone will take place simultaneously. I will explain this. Isopropanol, and this is alcohol. We can show it in a 6-membered ring transition state. So this is acetone, this is acetone. Then what happens? Acetone oxygen will be interacting with the aluminum, because oxygen is electronegative, aluminum is electropositive. So it will first, acetone will be coordinating with aluminum. Then in a 6-member transition state, what happens? It forms a bond with aluminum, then this H with entire bonding electrons. So this is what we can say hydride transfer. What we can say hydride, H minus transfer. H minus means hydride. Hydride transfer takes place. That means the hydrogen will be shifted to acetone. Then since aluminum is already having 3 bonds, now one more bond is forming, so we will break this. So this is exactly reverse to the sulfur oxidations, right? Where sulfur oxidations, what we do, we use to pick up this proton. So this bonding electrons will be moved towards carbon oxygen double bond. Whereas open air oxidation, this is reverse. H minus is leaving, it's not H plus. So H with the bonding electrons will be leaving. So from other side, the bonding electrons will be pushed to generate carbon oxygen double bond. I can also show it in a chain transition state, because when we explain the chain transition state, it will be easy to understand. So we can explain this in the chain form also. So I'm writing it with a little bit lengthy bond because to avoid any confusion. So this is the reagent, then it will be acetone. So there is a interaction between aluminum and oxygen, and there is an interaction between hydrogen and acetone. So to just avoid confusion, I have represented with a lengthy bond. Okay. Then what happens? This bond will migrate towards aluminum to form a aluminum oxygen bond. Then hydride transfer takes place to generate this bond. Then this bond will be broken to generate carbon oxygen double bond. So the product will be C double bond 1 plus aluminum triisopropoxide. So this we can explain with a 6-member transition state. So it is a 6-member transition state. We can easily predict this. We easily explain this using chain transition state. This is a recurring meeting. I think we can re-enter this meeting with same ID and password. We will just try. Okay. We will take 3 minutes break and then we can rejoin. Right, I'll give 2 examples for this. Aluminum triisopropoxide. So this is isopropyl group oxygen. Generally, most of the time we use acetone as the ketone, but sometimes we can also use benzoquinone. This is benzoquinone, right? We need a ketone, so we can use acetone. Most of the time it is better to use. I think not this one. Okay, sorry. In the next example, it is benzene, not this. Then what is important here is in aluminum isopropoxide oxidation, what happens if it is a homoallyl alcohol? It is not allyl alcohol, it is homoallyl alcohol. Then in aluminum isopropoxide oxidations, the double bond migration takes place. Double bond migration takes place to get alpha comma beta unsaturated carbonyl. So in open air oxidation, a homoallylic alcohol can be oxidized and the double bond can be simultaneously migrated, rearranged so that we will get alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. The last example for this oxidation is what is the product. So the same molecule, when it was oxidized with PCC, there is a ring formation, right? But here there will not be such type of ring formations. Okay, so no cyclizations, only the aldehyde. We do expect only the aldehyde. No cyclizations possible in open air oxidation. Cyclizations are possible only in PCC conditions. Even in PDC condition also cyclization